Let me give you all a story time on how this girl tried embarrassing me in front of the whole class and ended up getting humbled by the person that was sitting right next to me. Okay, for context, I used to be really insecure about my bare face, so I would go to school with like full beats so I could like feel better about myself. I had this class that was kind of like a relaxed period, like you could do your homework if you wanted to, or you could just sit there and be lazy. And I chose to be lazy. And I would sit with a table that would literally just talk and talk and talk. And so this girl, she decided to come up to us and ask if she could sit there, and the people that I was with were really nice, and so was I, and we told her to pull up a chair to take a seat. This girl was not saying a word to us, and when she opens her mouth, she decides to say, "Y'all know what I don't understand?" And we were like, "What don't you understand?" I was about to say her name. And she goes, "How some girls get up extra early in the morning just to do a full face of makeup." And I'm sitting there, the only girl with the full face of makeup, and I'm like, what the? Is this play about May? And I just ignore it, and nobody else says anything because, I mean, obviously it was targeted towards me and nobody wanted to make me feel bad. So everyone ignores it and we go on about our day. Tell me why she comes at me again and she's like, "You know, guys, I'm sorry, I just think it's so extra when people get up early to do their makeup. Like, I just do my lashes and put on lip liner for school. Girls that do their makeup, like full face of makeup, are just doing too much." And at this point, I'm kind of over it and I'm getting a little bit irritated because I don't know. Like, why would you say that? There's so many people in the classroom and it's embarrassing me because I'm the only one that's wearing makeup here. And the person sitting next to me sees that I'm getting kind of like sad and upset about it. So they turn around to her and they go, "You know what? You could use some makeup to hide the pimples that you've got going on." And I was like, oh my days. And after that, she shut her mouth and didn't say anything anymore about makeup. And to be honest, I kind of appreciate the person next to me for saying that because like they finally stopped attacking me, you know? But at the same time, I did feel really bad because like, vibes, everyone gets pimples, you know? But still.
I had just left my boyfriend of 2 years, and I'm going to tell you all the things I let this man slide with. I'm just going to get right into it. So I had lost my parents at the beginning of this year, and it had to be one of the most hardest things I have ever had to endure. But the next day, he decided that he wanted to go to Summer Smash instead of spending time with me. And I let him go because he said that he goes every year and he can't miss it. So if that's what's important to you, then go do that. It kind of made me feel very unimportant to him. And it kind of like ruined our relationship a little bit and kind of changed the way I seen him. I seen him in a more negative light. Because if you're my boyfriend, you're supposed to be here for me when I need you. Next, he had to go to his sister's birthday party, which of course I'm never going to keep you from your family, or keeping you from your sister's party is ridiculous. But the only problem I had was, so she invited all her friends and he had fucked one of his sister's friends before we were together. So it made me feel insecure in a way, and I communicated that with him. And me communicating and saying I was feeling like that made him really angry, and I didn't hear from him at all that night. And the only thing I asked of him was to update me. And him not reassuring me or updating me gave me all the more reason to overthink. He did apologize and came back, and I accepted his apology, and I believed that he would change and do better. The next time, his sister had something else going on, and I just told him to update me, and her friends were there, and I didn't hear from him at all that night, and it made me emotional. I don't know. And that night he didn't call me, and I was like, we could just like go to sleep over the phone tonight. And he's like, I don't want to talk to you at all. So I call him and I'm like, communicate, like, we're not gonna go to bed like this, let's just like work this out. And then he just hits me with like, if you can find better, go do that, like, you don't deserve this. And I'm just like crying because I'm like, why can't you, like, you've treated me good before, like, why are you like not now? And it was just me talking a lot. And him just telling me, like, go find better, like, you don't want me. So after that, I was done, and I booked a flight to Paris, and I stayed a week out there. And then he comes back, and he's telling me, like, come back, like, I'll be whatever you want, like, a woman like you deserves to be treated so much better. And after that, I'm done. Like, I'm actually done with your ass. And this is your sign to leave your trash-ass boyfriend and go on vacation.
Alright, so this is a story on why you should not make friends at work. So when I was 19, I was working at a restaurant, right? And like it was a couple of girls working there, and I made friends with this girl. She was 26, which it was a weird age gap because I felt like I was more mature at 19 than she was at 26. But anyways, we was working at the restaurant. I used to come in late sometimes. She would come in late. A couple of girls would come in late. So our manager eventually said like, oh, if y'all keep coming in late, we're gonna write y'all down, and eventually you'll get fired. So I took it serious because I was like, all right, I don't want to lose my job right now. So I started like taking time out like aside to get breakfast or get lunch and lounge before I enter work, because you can't eat on the floor, and I just wanted to take that time out for myself. So she said she was going to do the same thing because it's the smart thing to do. So this is like the first thing that happened that made me think like, can I really be friends with this girl? Like, it was really a red flag. So I was on my way to work, and I stopped by the pizza shop like up the block to get pizza and to sit down before going to work. And she called me and she's like, oh, Aisha, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm at the pizza shop, like I'm by the restaurant. And she's like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not in the mood right now, like I don't even want to be here, my energy's down. She said something like, oh, could you do me a favor, like a huge favor? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she's like, oh, do you mind getting me Starbucks? And like the time that it was like I think like around 3 o'clock, and like the area is just like so packed with people. It's the meat packing district, so if it gets super packed by tourists. So I was already like, I don't want to do this, but we just started becoming friends, so let me just do this favor. So I go to Starbucks, and it's packed like what I imagine, and I'm already on time, so I'm about to be late. And I called her, I'm like, hey, what do you want? And she said she wants a pineapple refresher. And I'm like, girl, what you mean, like you so tired, like then get coffee? But whatever. So I got her the pineapple refresher, went to work. I was late at work, people already looking like, oh, you late, like because you shouldn't be late. And then it's awkward, like the walkthrough was already like everyone has to see you walk through. So I give her the refresher, and she's like, she takes one sip and she's like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't even want this, like it's not my type, like, or it's not my like the type of flavor I want. I didn't know it was gonna taste like this. And then she puts it down and she's like, do you want it? And I'm like, no, I don't want it. And then she says, okay, so I'm just gonna throw it in the garbage because it doesn't make any sense. So she throws it in the garbage, which I low-key felt like that was disrespectful, but I'm like, whatever. So she throws it in the garbage, and I told her, I'm like, bro, you made me wait in line to get this coffee. I came to work late and you didn't even want it. She's like, I'm sorry. And then like she laughed, and I'm like, all right, whatever, it's not big of a deal, So then like the next week we were on the schedule for the same day, and she calls me right before my shift starts, and she's like, oh, Aisha, where are you? And I was like, I'm about to walk to the building. Like I was literally walking to the building, and she's at work. That's what's blowing me. So she's like, oh, do you mind getting me? And then she says like some food. She's like, do you mind getting me? And I'm like, no, like I'm not about to turn around in my tracks to get you food because you didn't like take the time off to get yourself food. I was like, honestly, Jasmine, yeah, I'll say her name. I'm like, honestly, Jasmine, like not right now because like I'm about to be late. And she was like, really, you can't get me out of that? And I was like, honestly, no, because it's like, that's so selfish. How you asking me to get you food? You could have got yourself food before you clocked in. So I go to work, and then I say hi to the girls and whatever. And then when it's time for me to say hi to her, she like turns around and then she rolls her eyes. She literally goes like this. And then she like keeps going on about her day. Like she like ignores me the whole day. And literally I'm thinking, all right, so we're not friends anymore. Like, it is what it is. This girl, at the end of the night, she's going to be like, I don't like when we argue, or I don't like when we fight. Why are we fighting? I'm like, girl, like, what are you talking about? Oh my god, I couldn't even do anything but laugh. But at the time, I was just like, come on, like, that's not funny. Like, you literally didn't talk to me all day because you're tight that I didn't give you food. And she was like, no, I thought you was mad, that's why. And I was like, all right. But no, this girl is literally crazy. And then for that situation, she did call me selfish one day for that. But whatever, we had like a rocky relationship, whatever. And then eventually I had to cut this girl off because she was moving crazy. But that's my story on why I do not trust coworkers. That already scarred me like when I was 19, and like I'm already scarred for the rest of my life now. Do not trust coworkers. Keep your personal life and then your private life totally separate. You do not have to make friends at work. You can, but don't go out of your way to do it. Yeah.
Men will literally say anything to crack. This one time me and this guy were talking, and I told him that I really, really like stuffed animals. And he was like, oh my gosh, really? I'm gonna keep that in mind. I was like, okay, cute. So one day he's like, oh, I have a surprise for you. And I'm like, oh, what is it? And he gave it, and it was this blue bear. So I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I was like, it was a cute stuffed animal or whatnot. Like, it didn't look brand new, but like, it was cute. So the problem happened when he was like, yeah, I just got it from Build-A-Bear today. Build-A-Bear? With Build-A-Bear stuff, there's like a stamp like on like one of the feet, and I was looking for the stamp. I was like, Build-A-Bear, really? Like, did they remove their tag or their logo? And he was like, they've never had a logo. Like, what are you talking about? The Hello Kitty Build-A-Bear I got, and I've been had it, and there's the logo. And the freaking blue bear had no logo and had a huge hole in his head. And he was like, I was like, oh, like, thank you for being so thoughtful, but are you sure this is from Build-A-Bear? And he was like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, what do you mean am I sure? Like, I was just there today. It was giving that he, like, tried this on somebody else before. I don't know. Be safe out there, because these guys think we're freaking dumb. Like, yeah.
I don't think it was just David that did this to her. I think there was other people involved. So one, if they have matching tattoos that say shush, what do you think that means? Does that mean that they're trying to keep their relationship a secret? Obviously. In almost all of his music videos, he has a white blindfold. What does that mean? Does that mean that he's blind to something else? Does that mean that someone else is involved? Wouldn't it make sense that it would be her with the blindfold and not him? He also has blood all over him, which obviously means that he does have something to do with it. In one of his music videos, he has candles that look like ritual candles. And what happens when people blow up? What happens before? Do they usually lose someone? Yes. I think she was used for some evil ritual. And this is all alleged, not completely true. This is alleged. I think this is a lot deeper than we think it is. If she's been missing for a year and she was just found and her body was already decomposed, either she was trapped somewhere or she was locked up somewhere and she just recently passed, or she's been unalive for a year and it's been like, I feel like they would have already found her sooner. Like the smell would have reeked sooner, like a month later, like not just a year later. Like they would have found her sooner, which means, and she's been missing, which means that she could have been locked up.